Hey, so it's Movember, and I have this awesome mustache, and people often want to know, what's the big deal about the mustache? Why not just go with the full no shave November? And I'm going to explain as quickly as I can why I don't do no shave November. Nearly 9 years ago, while fiddling with my junk, as a young man may do, I noticed that there was a lump on my left testicle. And I thought, oh, that's weird. And I ignored it. A few days later, I noticed the lump again, ignored it again. After a while, it became hard to ignore, but I kept ignoring it. And then I noticed it got bigger, and I tried to ignore it. And then it started to hurt, and any man can tell you, you can't ignore that. So I knew I had to call my doctor, and for a few days, I racked my brain on how to call my doctor and say, hey, I need you to touch my testicles. I didn't want to do it, but I did. So I took my own advice, so to speak, and I called up and I said I needed a physical. This is how I put it, just to check some things out. And then my doctor, he touched me there, and he thought it was weird, so I went and I got a ultrasound. An ultrasound on your testicles is the weirdest thing you could ever do. If you've ever seen a woman get an ultrasound on her stomach, it's the same thing, same principle. You put some goo all over where you're ultrasounding, and then rub all over. It lasted about a half an hour. So anyway, after that and seeing a urologist, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer. Luckily, I did go see a doctor when I did, because they were able to remove it. They thought they had pretty much taken it out with the surgery, and I started chemotherapy. The chemo sucked, and after the first week, I said, that's it, I'm done, I'm not doing any more weeks. They said they think they got it with the surgery, so I don't want to do it anymore. So I go in, I tell my oncologist, I'm done, no more. And he says, sorry, that's not an option, because there is still some cancer cells that we have noticed in your body. And that's when I realized that if I would have called the doctor a couple weeks earlier, when I first noticed it, I could have avoided the chemotherapy altogether. And it is the worst experience of my life that I could go into for hours and describe how horrible that was, but I won't. So anyway, 2 therapy sessions later of chemo, the worst weekends of my life later, I was cured and happy. 4 years later, they discovered that there were still a few more cancer cells in me, and I had to go through a surgery that was pretty horrible. It's called a retroperineal lymph node dissection, RPLND for those in the know. Basically, they take out your intestines, move them onto your chest, and I'll show you the evidence of this right now. And then take the lymph nodes out that are near your back, because that's where the cancer cells were. Cut myself shaving for this awesome mustache, but that was pretty bad. So that surgery sucked. A year later, I had to have hernia repair for that. That sucked also. And all of that, the chemotherapy, the 2 horrible surgeries, could have been avoided had I gone to my doctor when I first noticed there was a lump. But I didn't. And that's why I grow the mustache. And I cut myself shaving, because growing a beard, okay, I appreciate it. That's nice. People do it, but it's laziness. Let's be honest. That's just a month of vacation for me. Okay? I just don't shave for a month. I could do that all the time. But to grow this, and to walk out in public with this, let's be honest, it's not the greatest look in the world, but I'm doing it to really show that, there are worse things in the world. And if anybody can ask my question, why did you do this? This is why. This is why I grow the mustache. So that people can ask me why, and I can tell them, hey, don't be scared to tell a doctor to touch your testicles. It's not the worst thing in the world. Trust me. It's not. So do it. Feel your junk. If there's anything weird, ask somebody if they think they should see a doctor. And if anybody asks you, hey, should I see a doctor for my testicles? The answer is yes. Always. I'd be more than happy to be the person to tell you to go see a doctor to touch your balls. If you know me, if you want to just reach out and say, hey, Isaac, I got a lump on my nuts. I'm not going to touch it, but I'll tell you to go see a doctor. So there it is. Peace out. Happy Movember, everybody. I'm sad that there's only 1 week left of this, 5 days left of this. It's sad, but it has to come to an end. So everybody, again, peace out.